as the Daytona Speedway hosted the first Daytona 500. Now home drivers like Flywheel Roberts, Little Joe Bailey, Johnny Welchett, and Lee Petty can truly show their stuff, and an historic finish it was. Petty, Welchett, and Bailey raced virtually abreast the entire last lap and stormed across the finish line in an apparent dead heat. 3 days of closely scrutinizing photographs determined Lee Petty was the very first Daytona 500 winner.
Hope the rest of you are still awake. So we'll try it again. How is everybody today?
Great.
That's better. That's better. Hey folks, your ticket entitles you to one fast lap around the Speedway. And in racing terminology, we call that a hot lap. And if you're ready, the magic words today are go for it.
Go for it.
Go for it. All right, let's do that. There's turn 1. There's turn 2. Back straightaway sure looks bigger on TV, huh? Turn 3, turn 4. Go back to trioval area already. See, I told you it was a hot lap. Folks, I hope you have a nice day. You come back and see us now. I don't like the way you're laughing. You're expecting a lot more than that, was you? You're trying to tell me something. I guess I didn't fool you. Okay, I'll give you more. You deserve more than that, really. My name is Ned. On behalf of Speedway, I'd like to welcome you to the World Center of Racing. We're going out here and tour the infield and the garage area, the pit road, the raceway itself, and show you around the Speedway. And I'll probably answer about 98% of your questions before we get through. So if you kind of hold them toward the end of the tour, I'll give you a chance to ask them at that time. But keep them in mind because I may not touch everything. But all these race drivers that come to the Speedway, they've got one goal in mind. They want to be the first one to finish. Of course, they've got to overcome a lot of obstacles to get there. And my first obstacle is right here. I've got to make this right-hand turn. Truthfully, I think it's unfair, unconstitutional, and all those other obstacles, but anyway. It is me, I still got to make it. But I think I've got an alternate route figured out. If I can hit that button in the middle and skip the other side, hit that button and get for their grass twice, hit the infield, hit the fourth turn on the fly, and head over on the infield and land there on the fly. What do you say, we try it?
Yeah.
That's kind of a halfway good job. I don't want that convinced, were you? All right, so I'll do it the party people way. We won't take those chances. How's that?
How's the choice?
Okay. Young man in the right rear there, keep an eye on that guardrail. I don't want to mix that yellow on this light. How we coming?
Okay.
3 people answered. Hello? Hello? Okay.
There were a lot of tire marks on the side.
Uh-huh. This car was 250 foot long. It's 25 feet below turn 4. That kind of looks like a cannon there. Maybe we can skip the infield and go to the beach. What do you say? Oh, let's not do that. Yeah, we had a beach cooler back there, I can tell. Okay. Folks, this is the infield. It can be quite overwhelming. That's probably a mild word, because if you can imagine all this green area completely covered with motorhomes, campers, RVs of all sizes, all descriptions, thousands and thousands of them, and the thousands and thousands and thousands of people go with them, and that's exactly what it looks like on race day. And in fact, if you have a camper and you're interested, you're invited to come the day before the race, come back in here somewhere and set up a campsite, get your grill out, toast a marshmallow, hot dog, whatever, sit back and enjoy yourself and relax and wait for the race. But one word of caution, don't be one of those people we have to wake up after the race is over and tell them it's time to go home. That's not too good. We have 8 major racing weekends here at the Speedway. Everything from motorcycles to go-karts to stock cars to Winston Cup stock cars, as well as sport cars. And all those crews bring those rigs right down the International Speedway Boulevard out in the front, just like you and I do. The chefs and those crews then turn those semis and bring them in underneath these stands up here where it says Pepsi 400.
Can you get it?
Down across the raceway and come on down this road and make a right-hand turn here into the garage area. All these Sunbird convertibles we'll see on the straight lap on the Pepsi 400. Also to our right is a small part of the fleet of ambulances that the Speedway has. And the flat top building there is the Infield Care Center. On race day, we maintain doctors, nurses, and EMTs on duty at all times, so where they can treat a minor injury to a major injury. Would you believe on 4 occasions they've even delivered babies during the races? Now, ladies, we'd like to have you excited about the races, but come on, I'm not quite that excited. This is Top Gun territory. NASCAR has 168 garages down through here. On down to the open air variety at the far end. Once those crews get those cars ready for the race, they bring those cars right down between these yellow lines, just like we're going, make a right-hand turn and head for that gate up there. But before they do, they have to make a stop. This happens to be their scale area. If you notice those 4 metal plates in the far end of that bay, that's their new computerized electronic scales, where they can weigh a person or a car within 1 ounce. That's pretty accurate. We're doing a lot of construction around the Speedway, and I'll touch on that as we go around. We put about 3 foot of concrete additional to that wall, as well as the posts and cables on top of it. And Unical 76 happens to be the gas of NASCAR. If you notice those yellow stickers on the front of the pumps, that's 100, 108. That's octane. Your normal street use is around 83 to 87 octane. And if I were to put 108 octane in this van, this thing probably coughed and sputtered for 2 months before it ever came back down the ground. This is the paddock area, and all these buildings are race related. And the first one here on our left is Mrn Radio. That's Motor Racing Network, the home of Eli Gold, the voice of NASCAR. He broadcasts a racing program from there every Tuesday evening. By the way, if he doesn't broadcast in your area, let us know, possibly we can get him to expand into your area. Daytona Publications is responsible for 8 souvenir programs this season, and the checkered flag building is used for briefings and consultations with the drivers. The Rye helmets is the helmet of racers. They also sponsor the Daytona 200-mile motorcycle race. We're going to turn left here, right, go behind this building that has a Pepsi sign on it, but notice upstairs as I go by, it's a little different. That's the official score stand for all races here at Daytona. And on our left is the maintenance department. They're pretty large because we've got 450 acres here that they have to take care of, both inside and outside the raceway. And they do a pretty good job because we never know when some nice people like you might come by and take a tour. We're going back through the paddock area on our way to pit road. As we do, look to your left. Down from the end in Daytona, there's a yellow line that comes down across the raceway. That's the official start-finish line for all races here at the Speedway. On TV, that looks flat. As you can see, that's a long ways from flat. That actually is 18-degree banking. Between this yellow line or crossing and the pit wall is the area that the crews have to keep their tires and their tools and other equipment they may need to service these cars with. And that 76 ball to your right is the start of pit road. The 76 ball to your left is the end of pit road, and that's 1,600 feet long. Stop up here in a minute where you can take some pictures if you like, but keep in mind too, NASCAR set a speed limit on all pit roads, and our speed limit here at Daytona is 70 miles an hour, maximum. NASCAR has also designated these rectangle areas down through there as a pit area for each individual car. And there's room for 42 cars down through there. And those pit areas are assigned depending on how they qualify for the race or how they stand in the point standings. So once that car gets in that pit area, just like we are right now, then that crew can come across that wall, but no more than 7 crew members can come across at any one time. And the average time for a full-service pit stop here at Daytona is 22 seconds. In 22 seconds, they jack up the car, they change 4 wheels, they put 2 cans of 11 gallons of gas each in the rear end of the car, give the driver a drink of Pepsi or Gatorade, they clean the windshield, they clean the air scoop. Crew chief goes down behind the car, finds that hole, puts that wrench down in there, hits that nut, and adjusts that nut, which adjusts the stiffness of the rear end of the car. That's called a wedge change. You lower them off the jacks and away they go in 22 seconds. And it took me a lot longer than 22 seconds to tell you. So that's moving. They move. Rusty Wallace's crew last year set a 16-second unofficial stop for a full-service pit stop. And about 4 weeks ago at Martinsville, he had a 15.9 full-service pit stop. That is really moving.
This one or this one?
Are you? Of course, you're on it. You're on it. Are you ready? Yeah. The glass area immediately below that to the right side is NASCAR control, and the left side is the press and the media. That's the only unnamed section of reserve seats that we have here at the Speedway. All the rest of the sections to the right and left of that are all named after 8 of the famous drivers that have driven not only here at the Speedway, but also when they had the race on the beach as well. In fact, while we're here, kind of get an idea of what it looks like from one end of the stands to the other end. Those stands cover 8/10 of a mile. You'll see it a little better later on in the tour, but take a look while you're this close. There's also over 100,000 seats in there. And those 100,000 seats are sold out for next year's 500 already. In fact, they're sold out 1 month before this year's 500. Okay, you ready to go on us?
Stop it.
You saw the movie Days of Thunder with Tom Cruise? You saw Tom Cruise in that victory lane. When NASCAR drivers leave pit road, their goal is to aim for that turn number 1 down here where this 76 ball is way down here. It says Daytona, USA. And they will fudge to the right or hang to the right as much as they can to get to that turn as soon as they can. All your other road racers, your motorcycles, your go-karts, your sport cars, all take a left right here where all these traffic signs are, traffic marks. Go back in there and they make a series of 8 or 9 turns. They come back on the raceway up here where this pickup is parked. So they are back on the main raceway by the time they get to turn 1 down here. And they actually go 3.6 miles around their course, which means they're going 1 mile further than NASCAR goes. If you follow this wall around, the diagonal left over here, which says Daytona, USA, that is the 31-degree banking at that point. Follow our wall on around to that 76 ball that's almost left of us. That is the end of turn 2. So between turns 1 here and turn 2 is 2,600 feet. Your mathematics is right, that's just a few feet under 1/2 mile. If you look to your right, that's 18-degree banking, the same as you have at the start-finish line. And as you can see, that's a long way from being flat. For NASA, for these drivers, these race car drivers, to go into these turns, stay in them, and come out and do it properly, they have to maintain at least 70 miles an hour. NASCAR drivers go down here 2 and 3 abreast at 191 miles an hour. Shall we try it? Okay, let's go for it. Are you ready?
Yeah.
Well, somebody's game. I got one person. No, I won't. You look to your right, you're looking at 31-degree bank. That white line, the white dash up there is 10 feet down from the wall, and that alerts the drivers that they're getting close to the wall. As you can see from the marks, some of them took that advice, some of them didn't. NASCAR drivers decide how much they slow down for turn 3 down here ahead, or if they slow down at all. And all your road racers take a left behind us here. Take this left-hand road down, and come back on the main raceway down here past these cones. By the way, about 7 years ago, Bill Elliott set the speed record here at Speedway at Daytona. He turned a 210-mile-an-hour lap on qualifying. Amazing part of that is it took him 42 seconds to go 2.5 miles one lap around the Speedway. 42 seconds. When he did that, you see this white line down across the Speedway there from the 76 ball? That's a speed line. He crossed that speed line at 238 miles an hour. That is moving out. Mrn Road is starting to level out up there now, so which means we're 4 stories above the floor of the Speedway. That's 40 feet up. Let's stop up here in a minute and let you take a look at that 31
Standing on the bottom of Lake Lloyd? You are. All that dirt we dug out of there, that is a man-made lake. All that dirt we dug out made all these embankments all good. You actually are standing on the bottom. Do you have any questions about the Speedway or the racing? See the size of that concrete? This is the old wall from here on out. Well, this is new concrete back here. If you come to the Speedway with a camper or an RV that would go through that tunnel we went to originally, which we're going right over top of right now, by the way, you'd line up underneath that Winston Cup red canopy there. And that building to our right here is the executive offices of NASCAR and also Daytona International Speedway and the International Speedway Corporation. Far side, of course, is the visitor center that you came through. And if you go to the second floor, it's called the Gallery of Legends. It doesn't cost you anything, it's free. It shows you a pictorial account of the race. This is not only here at the Speedway, and the drivers and the cars, but also some of the races that they had at the beach years ago, and the problems that they had to confront them. Soft sand, hard sand, high tide, low tide, and etc. It also shows you a couple pictures up there that I find interesting. I think there's maybe 2. Of how they paved these elevated turns. If you stop to think about it, that had to be quite an engineering feat in itself.